there! How's it going? I don't know what to say. Hi, welcome to my channel. Name's Nick Bifocal, and I'm doing a PC run for the first time, so it's a little bit nerve-wracking. I've been playing on PlayStation for quite a while, so I've been really good without a camera sticking up on me, but I decided to do this, and I bought a program, game show, right? But anyways, we're gonna be playing some Slay the Spire right now. Hopefully, it's not a total embarrassment for me to play the game, but just gotta throw this out there. I'm not very good at the game. I've only played this like quite a few times, but I'm not that great at it still. So we're just gonna get into it. We're gonna be playing the Ironclad, and we're gonna start the build up. Let me see. Did I beat the boss last time? Yes, I did. Okay. So, or at least I got to the boss. I think I'm gonna... I think I'll take a curse. That's fine. Brutality. Hold up. Fiend Fire. That's a really good card. Okay. Okay. Let's start this up then. So, for all of you new guys who are just trying to see what this game like, and I know it's probably been out for quite a while, but just trying it out. I'll give you a quick description. This is after you first start up the map, is what you're going to be going into with your Ironclad. You're going to get a couple of options down at the bottom, where the flashing little monster guys are your starting points. And you have to choose one of those starting points in order to go somewhere. But then you also have your legend right here, which also explains exactly what each thing is. The unknown is a unknown room where you can encounter a lot of other things, like say a chance for treasure, or maybe even a way to get a curse or anything like that, or even run into more monsters. A merchant is where a place you can go to buy relics, like such as Burning Blood. Burning Blood, as you can see, is at the end of combat heals 6 HP. Now, relics are a bonus and also a boon for everything that you do. So you want to collect as many as you can that'll help the build that you're currently making. Honestly, I have no idea what all the builds are right now, so I have no idea what to get. But you can also get cards there, which for your information is these things right here. Clumsy is a curse card where it kind of takes up a spot in your deck, and you really don't want those, unless of course if they're for a specific card, which could really help out. But nevertheless, let me get back to it here. You also get potions, which will be up here inside the merchant, and you also get like a one-time use card as well inside there. But we'll get into those more as we actually get to the merchant. Treasure rooms is what you would think. Treasure. You can get gold, you can get potions, you can get anything to help you out on your journey. Rest places are rather more needed places to just like plan out ahead of time and just kind of like give yourself an edge on the game itself. Resting, as it says, stop by these rooms to heal some HP or upgrade your cards. So you can choose between upgrading your card for one, or you can heal your HP for an oncoming battle. Usually these are placed right before a boss battle to give you a chance to either choose between healing for that boss battle or upgrade a card that you need for that boss battle. So these are really important sites to have, and you know, make best use of them. Then you got basic enemies, which are going to be right here at the very beginning, and you always start off with the enemy, as far as I know. Now these are more basic ones. they're not going to be as strong, they're not going to do much damage, but if you're not careful, they can do quite a bit to you, as I've known plenty of times. Oh, excuse me. Again, excuse me, I'm sorry. And finally, we have our elites. Our elites are powerful foes that reside in the rooms as well. And defeating them will reward you a relic, which, like I said, you want as many of these as possible. So, my personal opinion goes for as many elites that you could possibly go in a run. So, to start things off, I have 2 elites pretty much in almost every area that I can possibly see for the max. So, I could take this route, gain 2 monsters, a merchant to show you guys exactly what I mean, then go to a bonfire, go to this elite, go to this monster, up to this treasure chest, then go to an unknown room, go to the next elite, a bonfire, and then we can go to an unknown room again, and then go into our final enemy before we hit our final rest on this floor. And by floor, I do mean this whole first third of the dungeon as far as I know. Then we can face the boss. So we're gonna go ahead and start it up. We're gonna take this enemy right here. Now this guy's name's the Cultist. He's not a very strong guy, but he's not very weak either. His little strategy buff here is gonna buff him about 3 strength, which will increase any damage he does by about 3. So, let's go ahead and focus on taking him out as fast as possible. Vulnerable for this card, Bash, means that it takes up to 50% more damage. So let's say if I use Strike right afterwards, instead of doing 6, it would do 9. So I want to start off with Bash. Go ahead and give him that much damage, 8, then plus 9. Now we're getting to a good start. Now, when it says too vulnerable, what it means by that is that how many turns it will last for that enemy to be vulnerable to. Now, you want to kind of plan out and hit as many times as possible with an increased damage as much as you can, because then it will take out the enemy faster. But like I'm trying to here say is I'm not a very good player at this, so I'm still just kind of being brand new. So we're gonna do something interesting. This Fiend Fire that we just picked up is a very powerful card to begin at the beginning. And let me just show you exactly what I mean. With the vulnerability, this card from 7 damage does 10 damage, and I exhaust the rest of my hand. So, I have 4 cards with the exception of Fire Fiend. If I use Fire Fiend, I can do up to 10 damage per each card. So dealing a total of 40 damage. And taking out the enemy. Rather simple. Now, when you defeat enemies, you usually get gold, but if you don't get gold, you will get gold. What am I talking about? There's a chance they can get potions, and you always get a card to go with each enemy killed. So, you usually get to pick from 3 on all occasions. Now we got right here is Thunderclap, Clash, and True Grit. True Grit, honestly, I played with some of these, and let me just go ahead and be honest here. Yeah, that pretty much sums up True Grit. It's boring, it's very dull, and it's not even helpful whatsoever. So we're not even gonna worry about that. Thunderclap. You already know what vulnerability does because I just explained it. So to apply one vulnerability to all enemies, that's a really powerful card if used right. Now, I could go into detail about how powerful this card could go, but we'll get into it more cards come unlocked. So, let's get to that and go on to the next monster. Now this guy is a jawworm. He's a mean monster, let's just be honest here. Let's go ahead and just do some damage, but also block. And that way we can put the vulnerability on him, so that way when we're attacking next round, we're going to be doing some real damage. Now, we got a ton of strike, but it seems as though he's going to be doing 7 damage, so I'm going to go ahead and put up the 1 defend and 2 strikes on him. Now, his vulnerable is now off, but here's the thing. I now have Thunderclap and Fiend Fire. When Fiend Fire has that vulnerability, it does 10 damage per each card that is destroyed. So, Thunderclap first, Fiend Fire, and that's game. Now we got 3 cards again to choose from, but this time we have 2 new cards in this selection. Armaments is gain 5 block and upgrade a card in your hand for the rest of combat. Let's be honest here. Sounds good when you hear the word upgrade. Oh, what does upgrade mean? Well, it makes the card better. But how? Well, we'll get into that when we hit our first bonfire. But personally, this card is not a very good card to use in many decks. The only real reason why you would want to use this card is if you're building a deck around upgrading in the middle of combat. And you also have a lot, and I mean a lot, of energy, which that's what this little symbol is here. You get 3 to start up with on your character each and every time that you play. Nevertheless, we'll go into Corruption now. Corruption. Skill costs 0. Whenever you play a skill, exhaust it. So, many cards that you'll be playing will have the word next to it called skill. And by next to it, I mean down here, where the word power would usually be replacing skill. When that skill comes into your hand after playing Corruption, its skill cost 0. So that means the actual cost of this item would be actually 0. If it's a skill. Now, there's many skills out there already, and some of them, like Flex, and there's a couple of others, but we can get into them more as they become more known to you. For now, I'm going to go ahead and just go Thunderclap because I want that vulnerability more so. Now, let's see here. Let's go to our monster. And now we got 2 monsters to deal with. Our first one is an Acid Slime. It's a small one, so it's not going to do a lot of damage, but it's also not going to be as strong. Now this medium Spike Slime is a little bit more threatening. However, this one is known to use strategic negative effects quite often. So, to start things off, I'm going to go ahead and do Fiend Fire after I use Strike. So, start it off, Strike, then Fiend Fire on the Spike Slime. That way we got some damage going. So the next turn, if I do out at least 3 strikes, I can take out the enemy. I will gladly take 3 damage for this, as my Burning Blood actually heals me for 6 at the end of the battle. Now, we got Thunderclap. Thunderclap, ooh. That's nice. So now we can kill that small slime, and still have the vulnerability, and use that for our strike to take out that large slime. Or I should say, medium slime. Like I said, monsters will drop gold always, and sometimes potions. Here's a potion for you. Gain 2 dexterity. Dexterity in this game is to indicate how much you can defend for. So if we were to use the defend card, we would gain 2 more defense than we would usually get. Or armor, I should say. It's actually armor. But nevertheless, we'll get into that later. Now we have 3 new cards in here. Evolve. Shuffle 2 wound into your draw pile. Whenever you draw a wound, draw 1 card. A very powerful card if you have a lot of cards used for wound. But for me, I'm not going to be using that. I'm going to be using a lot of cards that are based around me trying to deal the most damage possible. So I'm going to use the heavy heavy blade, which does 14 damage and strength affects heavy blade 3 times the amount. So in comparison to what it's trying to really say is, when you have a value of strength on your board, let's say you have strength 2, which would usually increase your damage by 2. This would affect it by 3 times the amount. So instead of doing 2 damage, you deal 6. Very powerful card if used right. Now if you upgrade the card, it's going to do 5 times the normal damage. So if you had 2, again, it would go up to 10. Proceed. Now, like I said, we're going to be going to the merchant to show you guys exactly what I mean. So we got 5 cards to choose from at the merchant. All of them cost gold. Here's our gold right now. Our money pouch. Now, we also have relics down here. Our bronze scale, a shovel, and also a rune dodecahedron. Sorry, I don't know many of these words and I'm very bad at pronouncing sometimes. Bear with me. So, let's go ahead and start off with the relics here. The runic dodecahedron is if your HP is full, gain energy at the start of each turn. Gain 1 energy though, because it has 1 energy symbol on it. Now, we also have bronze scales, which is also a boss item. Whenever you take damage, deal 3 damage back. Very nice card. Relic, excuse me. And then we also have shovel, which these two can't be afforded right now, but I would love to get that. Thank you, merchant. I appreciate that. The shovel is you can now dig for loot at rest sites. So those bonfires that we were talking about earlier, where you can upgrade and heal, well then you can now get a third option to dig at the rest sites to get loot. Whether it be gold or runes or, well, relics, meaning, and then cards as well probably. I'm just assuming because I never actually tried that yet. Now we also got potions down here as well. We got explosive potion, which deals 10 damage to all enemies, and then also the dexterity potion, which we already have one, which is gain 2 dexterity. Now let's go over to the cards over here. We have the sadistic nature, which is whenever you apply a debuff to an enemy, they take 3 damage. So you know that vulnerability that we were talking about earlier? Well, that's a debuff. They have a disadvantage when having that specific buffed item on them, which is the reason why it's called a debuff. And that could be a really good card to have, but at the same cost, I think these ones are just one-time uses, so why keep them? Madness. A random card in your hand costs 0 for the rest of combat. Exhaust. Now exhaust, as it says on the screen, is removed until the end of combat. What that really means is that combat is usually a battle between the monsters and you. Whenever that ends, that means that that cost goes back to its normal cost value. Now we also got these other cards here. 3 of them we actually don't know about yet. You guys don't, meaning. Thank you, merchant. I realize that. You have Wild Strike, which is a deal 12 damage, shuffle a wound into your draw pile, which would have gone well with Evolve, if we knew how to use Evolve. But wounds are unplayable status cards, which if you use this card, you gain a wound. When that wound comes into your hand, you can't play it. When you can't play a card, it's just a waste of space. To me, that's how I view it. Now, you also got Infernal Blade, which is add a random attack to your hand. It costs 0 this turn. The cost would be 0. So, you can use that attack right away. However, depending on the attack, it could be much more beneficial to use it at a different time. Now, we also got Combust. At the end of your turn, lose 1 HP and deal 4 damage to all enemies. This is a good DPS addition to any deck, so I'm going to go ahead and choose a couple things here. Or maybe just one. But, before I do, one more thing. The card removal service. Remove a card from your deck. This cost of this service increases by 25 for the rest of this run. So in technicality, it starts off at 75. But if you want to remove multiple cards, as you take out cards from your deck, you increase it by 25 each time. So starting off from 75 to 100, to 125, to 150, so on and so forth, etc. But we'll get into that later. Right now, we're going to go ahead and buy this bronze scales because we want to get our damage to start up. Now, we're left with only 9 gold left, but it's not the end of the world. We're going to get plenty of chances to get more gold. Hopefully. Let's go ahead and proceed with the dungeon, and we're going to go and try and run into our first elite, which will be right there. So, in order to get to it, you see the path that we have to take. We can either choose that one or that one. We're not going to choose this one because that doesn't get us to the elite. The elite's right here, and the path takes us this way. So, without further ado, let's get on with that monster. Oh yay, my favorite first level enemy. Let's go ahead and start it up with an easy damage taker right here. We're going to go Thunderclap to deal 4 damage and add a vulnerability, then deal heavy blade damage to this enemy, dealing for 21 damage. Now it's already at half health. That's nice. It's a very good first start for us. And now with those bronze skills, since it attacked, it did 3 damage to it, so now it's at 22. This is very good for us because now we have Fiend Fire, which can take it out in this very turn. And that's how we do it. Nice! I like this already. I'm glad that I took that curse and took this card. Now, we got 2 cards that we haven't seen before, which we've already talked about Wild Strike, but let's go ahead and go into Warcry. Warcry is draw 2 cards and place a card from your hand on top of your draw pile and exhaust this card. So, what this card does specifically is that it gives you a chance to really reshuffle your hand in a sense and play your next cards carefully for the next turn. So it gives us a chance to really add on and do some more things with our current deck. Which, we're going to probably pick this card up. But let's go ahead and talk about this next card, Disarm. Enemy loses 2 strength and exhaust. Now, like we were talking about earlier, strength adds additional damage to attacks. That card could be very valuable. But with the way that my deck's going right now, which I can show you my deck right now, I have 5 strikes, 4 defense, a bash, I have a curse, and then Fiend Fire, 2 thunderclaps, and heavy blade. Right now I'm doing a lot of damage. I want to do more damage. I don't really need these skills per se, but I would much rather have damage. So, if I can get anything out of this, I would much rather have Warcry at this current second. So, let's take it. Now we're going to go into that rest bonfire area, and let me show you exactly what I mean. So, we have 73 of 80 HP, but when we rest, we can heal for 30% of our max HP, which is 24. It says right there on the screen. We can also upgrade a card in our deck to do a little bit more with what we have. So we're going to go ahead and just upgrade the card just to show you what it does. We're going to go ahead and go down to Fiend Fire because it's one of the very strongest cards that we have in our deck and it's not even upgraded yet. So let's give it a chance to make it a little bit better. Now when we upgrade this, from what we now understand is anytime you upgrade a card, it either lowers the cost of the card by its total, or it increases the effects of the card itself. So, from what this card's doing, from the upgrade is dealing an extra 3 damage per card that we draw out of our hand. So, definitely a worthwhile card. We're going to go ahead and upgrade it. And let's go ahead and go into our first elite battle. This is going to be very interesting because this guy is one of the worst enemies to face. Wow! Way to start things off. So this guy has 86 HP and his name is Gremlin Knob. Now this guy, whenever he uses his buff at the beginning, which he's always going to, it's going to give him a rage which increases his damage by 2 each and every time you use a skill. We're going to go ahead and watch as the next turn comes around. For right now, we're safe. We're going to go ahead and start with Thunderclap, Strike, and Strike. To get some of that damage in there. So now he's down to 64 out of 86 HP. A good run of damage right now. Now this is a very interesting hand. Now we could draw Fiend Fire if we use our Swift Potion here, which could give us an advantage. However, that also costs 2. So we could use our Thunderclap as soon after... see? That's a good reason why we use potions. So let's go ahead and use Thunderclap to get that vulnerability on him. Now we're going to do an extra 50% of our 10 damage that we do for each card that we have in our hand. Which, for just so we are clear, is 6 cards in our hand. So we're going to do 15 times 6 damage, which is what? 90 damage? Goodbye to Gremlin Knob. An easy win. Now, we also got our new relic here, Champion Belt. Whenever you apply Vulnerable, also apply 1 weak. So what weak does is shown right here. Weakened creatures deal 25% less damage with attacks. So we can do more damage as they do less damage. You liking it so far? Because I am. Now, keep in mind though, is that it's not a one-on-one comparison. When it says, whenever you apply vulnerable, also apply 1 weak, it doesn't mean for every vulnerable you put on it, it means you also put on 1 weak. So if you put on 2 vulnerable, you put on 2 weak. That's not how it goes. Whenever you apply vulnerable in general, no matter how many you put on, you also apply 1 and 1 only additional weak. So that means each and every time you want to put on an extra weak on an enemy, you have to do a separate card that uses vulnerable on it. So keep that in mind. Now we're going to go ahead and add a card to our hand, and we got 3 new cards to look at here. Blood for Blood, which costs 1 less energy, which we were talking about a lot earlier, for each time you lose HP in combat, which we can lose up to 4 times HP in our combat. So each time we take damage, we lose 1 energy off of this card's cost. So this could be a very powerful card if we're going up against a boss. Keep that in mind. Now also, which would go well with this card, is Hemokinesis. Hemokinesis is lose 3 HP, but deal 14 damage to a enemy. 1 enemy. This is a very powerful card. Very powerful. Excuse me. That's rude. And it only costs 1 energy. Really nice too. And then we also have Iron Wave, which gain 5 block and deal 5 damage. Now block is like the armor or the shielding that we were talking about earlier, the defense, if you will. So if we were to use Dexterity with this card, it would be gain 7 block instead of just 5, but we would still only do 5 damage. A very powerful card if you know how to use it properly in the right deck. However, with the deck that we're building right now, we're not going to be really using it that much, so we're going to go ahead and go for blood. Now we're going to go into our next enemy fight, and we have 3 little caterpillar guys called Louse. What these Louse all do right now is when this enemy gets attacked, on taking attack damage, it rolls up into a ball and gains 5 block. So that means that whenever you deal damage to it immediately before anything else, or for that matter, you can deal a skill or anything like that, but as soon as you deal damage to it, it rolls up into a ball and it gains 5 block to it. So you kind of just want to prepare yourself and kind of get those cards out there that you would like to get. We're going to be dealing a lot of damage here, so let's go ahead and do Heavy Blade on the weakest enemy here, which is right here, this little Louse, so that we can save ourselves some HP. Because this looks like about 18 damage is going out, and we don't really want that. So that's reducing it down to 12 now. Now we can use this Dexterity and increase our defense to 7, which gives us 5 damage if we add these two together and subtract it from our armor that we now have. Let's go ahead and end our turn and watch the damage go through. Nice! It's a very good run so far. So we're going to go ahead, since we now have a really nice hand to play with right now. We have Thunderclap, which is really good. Let's go ahead and activate it. That way they roll up into the little balls and are a little bit weakened here. And now we can do an additional 9 damage to these enemies. So we're going to go ahead and do it to that Louse. We don't want him to strengthen up. That's what he's going to do, by the way. And then we'll end our turn. From here, he's going to attack and deal 4 damage, but he'll take 3 damage in return. And finally, we can just end this with Fiend Fire Plus, and that's basically game for him. This is a really nasty deck coming around so far, and we're still building it even yet right now. We got 3 new cards to look at. We got 1 really rare card and 2 uncommon cards. Let's start off with this rare card, Limit Break. The Limit Break is double your strength and exhaust. Man, this is a very nice card. Now notice that it's a double your strength is the only thing that it says on it, not a number or anything like that. So, for me, the only thing that it's going to be upgraded to, if we were to ever upgrade it, is the cost, which is going to reduce down to 0. However, we don't have any strength cards at the current second, so this is of no use to us. Sever Soul, however, is a very nice card. Exhaust all non-attack cards in your hand, but deal 16 damage. Which, mind you, let's think about this for a second. This means that all skill, power cards in your hand are exhausted for the remainder of that combat, but you deal 16 damage. So if used right, using powers and skills, you can deal a lot more damage with this card. Now let's go over to our third card, Battle Trance. Draw 3 cards. You cannot draw any additional cards this turn. This card's a very nice card to have, especially when you're trying to draw cards. But the only problem with this is that you really want to play it as your last draw card in general. If you get any other draw cards in your hand, you would rather play those first before playing Battle Trance. So since we're building off a deck right now that kind of gives us damage, we're going to go with Sever Soul. And now we're going to our treasure room. Ooh, it's a very nice big chest. Let's see what we get in it. 47 gold and a blood vial. Excuse me. The blood vial is a relic, and at the start of each combat, heal 2 HP. So that means At the very beginning, we heal 2 HP, and at the very end, we heal 6 HP, giving us a total of a grand total of 8 healing. Which gives us a chance to really save our HP right now. And it feels good to have that. Yeah. Okay, so our next one is going to be this question mark because we're going for the second elite and getting our second relic. Ah, yes. This area. Now, we got a choice here in this option, in this mysterious area. We could stomp on the mushrooms, or we can eat them and become infected with parasites, which is a curse. And curses are going into the deck and take up space, so they're not really good to have. So we're going to go ahead and stomp and anger the mushrooms. Which, before we do that, let's read this little text. You enter a corridor filled of hypnotizing, colored mushrooms. Due to your lack of specialization in mycology, you are unable to identify the specimens. You want to escape but feel oddly compelled to eat a mushroom. Nah. You stomp on one of the mushrooms. Ambushed! Rodents infested by the mushrooms appear out of nowhere. Fungi beast. Those are what these three are called. Well, let's have some fun, shall we? We're gonna go ahead and start with a simple war cry. See what we get in our first part of our hand. Ooh. Ooh. I'm gonna go ahead and put Thunderclap back in. And then we're gonna proceed to go ahead and use Thunderclap at least once here. And go ahead and deal about 9 damage to this enemy, giving it a grand total of 10 HP left. Now, blood for blood. Since we took in damage from this fungi beast first, our actual energy decreased by 1 on this card in order to spend. So now we can actually play it. However, it would be a waste to play it right now at the current second. So let's go ahead and start off with Thunderclap. And then go ahead and go into our strike. Which, we want to take out these guys as fast as possible because they're going to be doing a little bit more damage. Let's go ahead and make sure that we don't have a lot more enemies to deal with. Since our bronze scales is going to be doing 3 damage to the enemy's back for whenever they hit us, I'm glad to take these 3 hits and then bring their HP down a little bit. He's gonna die. He's gonna die. But he'll take HP damage. Now, let's see here. We got Fiend Fire. And we got a couple of other things in here. The only real thing that's not in a non-attack card in here is this Defend, which is a relatively nice thing to have. However, we're not going to be able to do enough damage with Sever Soul in order to take out this enemy. And Bash doesn't do quite enough damage right now at the current second to do anything. Heavy Blade only does 14 and it's missing the 3 that it needs, and this guy's not going to be attacking this round. So we need to take him out right now in this round, so the only real option we have is Fiend Fire. Now that we enter this room, and we did this challenge, we got this special relic, which is an odd mushroom. When invulnerable, take 25 more damage rather than 50% more damage. So that decreases our damage dealt to us by about half if we were to be vulnerable, which is a very nice thing to pick up. So let's go ahead and pick those up. Then we already know Swift Potion, which is to draw 3 cards. And let's go ahead and pick some... Oh! 2 new cards to look at here. We got Flex, which is gain 2 strength, and at the end of the turn, lose those 2 strength. And then we also got Pummel, which is deal 2 damage 4 times. Which is 2 times 4, which is a grand total of 8. Not bad, but we need strength and vulnerability in order to really increase this. So I'd much rather take a Flex right now. Now we're gonna go into our little elite battle here. Looks as though we're gonna be taking quite a bit of damage starting from our first hand here. Well, he's not gonna be able to stand up right away, so we're gonna go ahead and use Thunderclap, Strike, and Strike again. Now he's down to about 96 of 110 HP, and his little state of defense is now gone. He's now going into full-out attack. It's going to be a brutal battle here. Let's see, what can we work with if we draw 3 of these cards? Ooh! Let's go ahead and just do this right now. We're going to go ahead and Flex, and now we deal 12 damage, which is really nice. And just in order to show you how much damage we're actually going to do, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards in our hand, with the exception of Fiendfire. 6 times 12 is 72. We'll go ahead and deal that 72 damage and take that 18 without a doubt. So now he's down to 24 HP. It's a lot easier to work with rather than 96. However, we're taking quite a bit of damage right here, and he's already taken an extra 3. So, let's go ahead and look at our cards here once more. We have Thunderclap, Sever Soul, Strike, Warcry, and Defend. Now, honestly, we could kill him in this round. When we give it Thunderclap, we can use Sever Soul, and that should basically kill him. 24 damage out of the 17 that it had. Now, let's go ahead and collect our gold, and look at the Shuriken that we picked up. Every time you play 3 attacks in a single turn, gain 1 strength. Very nice card to use. Let alone Relic. Explosive Potion, deal 10 damage to all enemies. A very nice potion to have. And we get to choose between 3 cards again. This time we have 2 new cards to look at again. We have Twin Strike with this deal fire damage twice, so 5 times 2. Very nice to have. Very, very nice. And it's a very, very inexpensive card to use. So we're definitely probably going to be picking that up. But let's go ahead and look at the second one, which is Shockwave. Apply 3 weak to and vulnerable to all enemies. Exhaust. Now this could be really helpful for us in comparison to other cards that we have, but we don't really want to pick up a lot of skill. So, honestly, it's a really tough choice. I think I may be picking up Shockwave for this time, but probably next time we're not going to. Now, let's go ahead and hit the next bonfire, see what we have. We have 48 HP, and we can heal for 24. So, out of that, it would come up to 72 of 80, which would probably be a lot better than working with 48. I think we're just going to go ahead and just rest for right now. Now we're going to be going to another unknown here. Let's see where we're going across. We have a lot of enemies here, and it's not looking very good for us right now. Well, the first thing that we need to do is take out this Gremlin Wizard, because he's a very powerful foe right now. and he's actually the most fearful one out of the batch. Mad Gremlins will be the second ones because of what their little rage ability is down here. Whenever a Mad Gremlin takes attack damage, it gains 1 strength. So we're definitely going to want to take him out as fast as possible. But I hate to get rid of Heavy Blade. Oh well. Sometimes it can't be helped. We'll go ahead and end the turn. And now we don't have to deal with those defends anymore. Which this guy needs to go away. This little guy in the very back, this very shield gremlin, needs to go away. Whoa! A very nice hand to start off. We have Flex to gain 2 strength. So now we can do 2 extra damage for each card. Which now we can use Thunderclap twice. And now these guys are going to be taking 9 damage. And now we can take out this Mad Gremlin. And now we only have to deal with one of them. And what a nice little hand that we have here. We have Vulnerable Bash, which applies to Vulnerable, but it already does enough damage to take him out. Let's go ahead and just bash him. Very nice, easy round for us to go through. And I must say, we didn't take that much damage. I'm very happy about that. Now, deal 10 damage to all enemies. Ooh, and Body Slam and Whirlwind. Remember how I said Thunderclap would be well with Whirlwind? Well, here's this card for ya. Spend all energy, deal 5 damage to all enemies X amount of times that you spent your energy. So since we have 3 energy right now, if we were to play Thunderclap, then use Whirlwind, we can use the Thunderclap's vulnerability to add its attack damage upwards. Plus, if we had a Flex to deal with that, it would increase its damage even more so. But even specially though, we're going to upgrade this card when we get to the last bonfire. It's going to be very much worth it. So we're going to go ahead and pick up Whirlwind. Now we're going to deal with that last enemy here. Hopefully it's not a very strong one. Let's see, its first turn they're going to both do 6 damage. So let's go ahead and prevent some of that by doing one of these explosives and getting a little bit of damage out there. Now we could use Warcry, see what kind of cards that they have. Ah, here we go. Fiendfire will save for the next card draw, but right now we're going to use that Thunderclap. Now that really helps us out because now this takes out this enemy instantly. And now we're only dealing 5 damage to ourselves. So it's a very worthwhile little kind of trade-off there. And I'm happy with the way that this first round is going for us. It's going really well. Well, just because we can use this card to get rid of the enemy right now, and it's the final part of the round, it's not really going to matter. So let's go ahead and use Fiendfire Plus. 20 gold, nice. And we also get another card to look at. Burning Pact, exhaust 1 card but draw 2. Very nice card to have, especially when we're trying to get as many cards as possible. But, however, we also gain the damage, so Severed Soul could be a nice addition to our card pile as well. But since we really need to draw those cards in order to get to those powerful cards, Burning Pact is going to be our first choice. Now let's go to Smith, and we are going to go straight into Whirlwind, which is right here. So you'll see now that since it doesn't have a really specified cost to it, it's really going to upgrade its damage that it does overall. So instead of doing 5 damage, it now does 8. And if we have 3 energy, it does it X amount of times. So 8, 16, 24 damage total. Plus the strength, plus whatever vulnerability we have. It's really going to help out. especially when we're running across a lot of enemies. And especially if we're going to be facing off against this specific boss. This is a very, very, very pain in the butt boss that we have to deal with here. Let's gonna go ahead and just throw on Thunderclap in order to get it a little bit vulnerable and weaken that attack there. Then we're gonna use Sever Soul and deal a little bit of damage. 24, not very much, but it's at least enough for a start. I hate this draw reduction that it has on it. Oh well. Let's see. You have Thunderclap, Blood for Blood, and Strike, along with Clumsy, which we don't even need to use Clumsy at this rate. If we use Thunderclap right now, it's actually not going to do anything for Blood for Blood. So the only thing we're going to be able to work with would be that 6 damage, which with Thunderclap it would become 9. It's not really a worthwhile trade. I'd much rather take Blood for Blood right now. So on the third turn that this enemy is deduced here, it's gonna do 35 damage, which is a pain in the ass. Ugh. Now we could apply 3 weak and vulnerable to the enemy, but it's not gonna really do enough damage to really worry about. So 70. If we can get it down to 70 within this strike. Go ahead and do War Cry. Ooh. Yeah. I think I'm gonna say Flex right now. I'm gonna go ahead and use that Shockwave, because the next round is probably gonna be a very important one for us. We'll definitely take that 26. It's not going to really hurt too badly, but it's really not going to be the greatest thing on earth for us. Oh, now this is a really nice hand. We're going to go ahead and start off with Burning Pact. Now, it could have gone a little bit better, but honestly, this is not too bad. We're going to go ahead and gain 2 strength and deal 12 damage plus the amount of half of it, equivalent times 2, which is going to be 18 times 2 is 36. And 36 to this is going to make it split due to its ability. So, we're going to go ahead and use that Fiendfire Plus. Notice that I got interrupted, and now what it's going to be doing next is, due to this split, it's going to go ahead and split into 2 smaller slimes. And each slime is now going to have only 54 HP each. Oh! A very interesting starting hand right now. We can go straight into dealing 2 vulnerable and then a strike on any enemy that we choose, or we can do a vulnerable and deal an additional 7 damage in order to get this guy to split. I think we're gonna go ahead and do that. So next turn he should be able to split, and he's not gonna be able to do a lot about it. Let's see. 2 Thunderclaps. Anything on this one? Blood for Blood. Yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of Strike. Yep, that's what I'm hoping. Okay. we're gonna go ahead and use Flex and then deal about 10 damage times 2 for each of these enemies. That way they split up. This guy's gonna break out and have 6 HP per each of these little slimes. This one, actually, we're not even gonna worry about that. We're gonna take him down. He's gonna be interrupted now. And we won't have to worry about anything, because he's gonna now split. Now, blood for blood. This is nice right now, because it's now only 1 cost in comparison to anything else in here. So, it's easy to admit that it's going to be our first card to use, but we're going to go ahead and use Burning Pact, get rid of Strike. See? This is the reason why it's going to be worth it. Flex. Now, let's see. We're definitely going to want to do it to that guy and strike him dead, because he's attacking this turn. Save ourselves some HP. Well, this is an interesting hand. Right now, we're going to go ahead and do Thunderclap and just Whirlwind him in order to end this fight. 97 gold to add, and then we also get a card from the boss fight to add to our deck, which these ones are going to be rare cards. We got Offering, which we already talked about, is a very nice card to have. Immolate. Exhaust 1 card of the chosen card. If the chosen card was a status or curse, deal 10 damage to all enemies. It's a very nice card because we actually have Curse in our deck. And then we have Impervious, which is gain 30 block and exhaust immediately. Although very useful if you're trying to take away damage from the enemy, we really won't need it right now because the enemy is not going to be doing as much damage. So we're going to be using Offering. Snecko. We have Curse Key. Runic Cube and Curse Keys are not really that great. I think I'm gonna go Snecko Eye, honestly. What these relics do specifically, as they state, the Curse Key is gain energy at the start of each turn. Whenever you open a non-boss chest, obtain a curse. And we really didn't pick up that curse card, so it's not going to really be useful to us. And we really don't need any more curse cards to go with our deck. So we're going to go ahead and forget about that. Runic Q is to lower our HP maximum by 20%. Now, as you can probably tell, we really don't have a lot of HP, so decreasing it by 16 is not going to be a lot of help to us at all. So, instead we're going to take the Snecko Eye, which is to draw 2 additional cards each turn. Very nice card to have. But then we also start each combat confused, and the confused effect is shown as below. Whenever you draw a card, randomize its cost. So that means whenever you pick up a card out of your deck for that battle, the actual cost for that card is randomized. It can be from 0 all the way up to 4. Honestly, it's one of the best tools that you can ever have. Let's go ahead and go Snecko Eye. Now this is a very nice build to have already as it is. We already got 7 runes to start off with, runics, or relics I should say. And now our deck is filled up to 23 in card count. Very nice so far to go with. So right now we're going to go ahead and focus on getting more of these question marks and also, excuse me, some smaller enemies to start off with too. We're going to really try to aim for those elites and get those relics that we can as much as possible. Let's see here. Which way is the safest but most efficient route for us to take? Well, I think we could take this path right here. Or we could also take this path right here, go up this way, take on that elite, get a treasure chest right there and bonfire, get that next elite after an enemy fight, hit another bonfire, go up, take on these two enemies, hit another bonfire, and go to the boss. That's probably our best bet right now. We're gonna go ahead and do that. Now see, this is really nice. So now we can do a lot of work here. We can go ahead and start off with Shockwave to lower its vulnerability by quite a bit. Thanks to the effect of the champion belt, we also weakened it by an extra 1 weaken. So this is going to do quite a bit of damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 10 plus the half, which is 15, so 15 times 5 is 75. We're going to start with 75 damage, and it's not doing a dang thing about it. It's beautiful right now. Now this could be a really good hand, but it's also becoming really bad right now. I'm going to go ahead and start off with a Thunderclap. Actually, will we? Will we start off with a Thunderclap? Yeah, I guess so, since everything else is 3 ranked or 2. We're going to go ahead and Thunderclap him, deal an extra damage there. Then we're going to decrease its HP by about 18. Give it a chance to fight back a little bit here. But it's dead. Thanks to our bronze scale. Now we get 12 gold, the elixir, which is also an exhaust all status and curses cards from our hand. So whether we get an injury or if we were to get like some sort of wound in our deck, a wound would be a status, an injury would be a curse. But we get to exhaust those from our hand for the rest of the combat, so that would be great. However, though, it's not going to be useful if we actually don't have anything, so we could toss it if it's not going to be useful to us. Excuse me. We also have 2 new cards, I think, here. Feel No Pain. Whenever a card is exhausted, gain 4 block. Now, we're not going to be exhausting a lot of cards, but at the same time, we do have a couple cards that exhaust quite a bit of cards within our deck immediately. So it would probably be best to pick up Feel No Pain. But let's go ahead and look at Metallicize for a second. At the end of your turn, gain 3 block. So for each turn that goes by, you gain 3 block no matter what happens after you activate that card. Nice, but with Snecko, it's going to change a lot of things up. So we're going to go with the most powerful cards and the most deadly cards that we can. Feel No Pain. Oh, we got quite a bit of options to play with here. Excuse me while I do this real quick. Alright. Now, we got Bolgon, which is a lot of damage. And I mean a lot. It does 32 damage just straight out of the box. Very nice card to pick up right away. But let's go ahead and look at the relics here, just to see if we can pick up anything that might be a little bit interesting for us. We have the Kunai. Every time you play 3 attack cards in a single turn, gain 1 dexterity. Not bad. And then Bag of Marbles. At the start of each combat, apply 1 vulnerable to all enemies. which that goes hand in hand with our champion's belt. Very nice. And then Juzu Bracelet, which is a regular enemy combats are no longer encountered in blank rooms. We would much rather have enemy combats, so long as they're specialized to give us runes. Excuse me. But it would be nice to have those random combats, so we're not going to pick this up. We're going to go ahead and start off with Bolgon here. Then we're going to go ahead and do the bag of marbles. Now let's see what other cards that we can pick up here. We have 93 gold, so we can do a little bit. Well, we can pick up Pommel Strike. And if we ever run across Perfect Strike, it might increase it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We'll pass on the Flex right now. And we're going to go into our mystery room now. As much as this would be a bonus to gain a relic, it's not worth having normality if it's a curse that we get. I'd much rather upgrade a card and have a chance to become injured. Let's go ahead and upgrade one card here. We're going to go ahead and upgrade... What kind of card should we upgrade? Should we upgrade this? Nah. What about this? Apply 5 weak invulnerability to all enemies. Ooh. That might be worthwhile. But then again, let's keep looking. We can also gain 4 strength and lose 4 strength at the end of that. Or we can lose HP, gain 2 energy, and then draw 5 cards out of that. Not bad, not bad. That could be a bonus too. I think we're gonna probably go with Offering here. If we find anything else that works for draw count, let's see. Does Pommel Strike though? It does. I think we might be going with Pommel Strike here. I think we're gonna go with that. We upgraded Pommel Strike. And we didn't get a curse. That's nice. Let's go ahead and go to our next room, shall we? Oh, my favorite enemy. My favorite enemy on this level. Great. Nice. That's fantastic. We're gonna go ahead and start off with Offering. Lose 4 HP, gain 2 energy. Oh. You know, it's not a very good card starting off here. We're gonna go ahead and just do Thunderclap just in order to get it out of the way. And then we can go Whirlwind. We're not going to be doing a lot of damage this first round. It's not very great. Not to mention he's going to heal up now. Not a very good start. Oh! But this is a very nice start here. We have Fiend Fire and a couple of no-cost cards. However, I'd much rather use Fiend Fire just in order to get that damage in there, so we're going to go ahead and just do that. This guy's not going to last very long after this round. He's going to gain about 25 defense after this. I take that back. He's going to die. Very nice. I like this already. This deck is going very good so far. I'm very happy about it. Now, this is very interesting too. Now we're getting into the middle floors and a lot of these cards are starting to become upgraded, just like this Flex here. It's going to be very nice in the long run. But we have a new card, Anger. Deal 4 damage, place a copy of this card into your discard pile. Very nice card to have. This gives you a chance to literally run an Anger run. But since we're running with Snecko right now, it's not going to be a very good use for us. We're going to go ahead and go with Flex Plus right now. And now, after this last enemy run here, we're going to go into our bonfire and upgrade a couple of items if we don't take too much damage here. Which, looking right now, it's not a bad start. We can deal 8 damage and apply vulnerability to it once more, decreasing its damage. Then we can use Fiend Fire and just take down its HP quite a chunk. Instantly killing it. It's a very nice card to have right now. It's a good thing we upgraded it too. Now we have choices here. We have Combust, Pommel Strike, and Flex again. We already picked up Flex last time. We don't really need another Flex, so we're just going to pass up on that. Pommel Strike would be a very nice card to have right now. But then again, at the end of your turn, lose 1 HP to deal 4 damage to all enemies. That's a really nice card, especially if they're going to be doing a lot more damage, and we're already taking them down to quite a bit of health. So we're going to pick that one up. Now we're going to this bonfire. We're going to smith up our card here. And let's see, let's choose... What does this one do afterwards? 5? Nah. 42 damage. Dang, that burns. Now you're going to notice that a lot of these cards are not showing up after we've upgraded them. That's because they're not in this pile. This pile is actually specifically made for the cards that are not upgraded yet. I guess Offering. We're going to go ahead and upgrade that card. And now we're going to be going to our first elite battle, which is going to be a painful one. Ooh. Yikes. Oh, this is not even good. Oh, wow. This is a very bad hand. I'm not sure what to do here, guys, except for what I can right now. That'll be my play. And we're gonna take 8 damage right off the bat. It sucks. But he's gonna take 6. Very nice. Oh, but we got a really good stack of cards here. Oh man, do we have a stack of cards. Ha! Nice. We're definitely gonna... Oh. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to play Warcry first. Oh. We'll get rid of that 1 cost defense here. And we're gonna use Sever Soul to start things up. Dealing 24 damage to this guy immediately. Now we're gonna pick up Fiend Fire and deal 15 damage per each for a grand total of 45. We're basically halfway his health now. Very nice. Sorry for that little there, but that was needed in my opinion. I just couldn't deal with it otherwise. Oh, not very bad third hand here. We got Shockwave, so we're going to apply that. Decreases attack down a little bit here. Then we're going to go the free defense. And then we're going to go into our free strike. Then we're going to bash him. And then we're going to defend again. Now, this is a very nice hand to be working with right now. It's very nice. Oh! You seeing what I'm seeing here? Thunderclap. Bolgon. Instantly killed. I like it. Now, we just got a new relic, the Sentinel Puzzle. The first time you lose HP each combat, you draw 3 cards. Very nice first card draw here. And now we got 3 extra cards. Anger Plus, which deals 6 damage and place this copy of this card into your discard pile. Not bad, not bad. Especially with the cards that we're going to be running, but I'd much rather be having either Combust or Reflex right now. Or Flex, not Reflex. Flex. Let's go ahead and go... another Combust. And I do say that a little bit weird. I know it's Combust, but still. How much does that do? 18? Nah, that's not even worth it. That's not even worth it because we have Sneko's Eye, Heavy Blade. Probably worth doing Heavy Blade first and foremost. Flex. Yeah, let's go into Heavy Blade. It might do a little bit more damage. Oh, we get a Strawberry. Raise our max HP by 7. That's a very nice thing to have. Thank you. Now we're gonna go into our next enemy battle. Oh. Alright. Well. This is gonna be a bad game. Well, it's a good thing I did what I did there in order to get that. Oh man, we got a lot to play with here. Let's go ahead and go into our free stuff right away. Let's see. We got Sever Soul, which is going to be a really big influence for us. Because we don't need the skill curse or this skill here. We'll definitely take up a Flex. Then we'll play Sever Soul to kick this guy out of here. We'll then go into Pommel Strike, draw 2 extra cards, got another strike out of that, deal another 10, deal 10 here, and then deal 11 damage there. This guy healed for 16, not bad, not bad. But we got Heavy Blade, which, for you remembering, this was at 14 damage before. Now that we have 1, it's now at 19. Let's see, we're gonna go ahead and use this offering card to see if we can do any more damage. Ah, but see, we have now Flex. We're gonna go ahead and use that. And now we're doing 29 damage, taking out this guy instantly. Like strategies. Ooh, we got an energy potion, which gives us 2 energy whenever we need it. That's very nice. And now we got one more card to look at here. Intimidate. Apply 1 week to all enemies. Exhaust. Although it's a very non-costing card, with Snecko it's going to change things around. So we're going to have, I guess, Wild Strike to go for it first and foremost. We really don't want that card, but we'd much rather have that card before any of the other 2. This middle guy has to go. Hmm. This is going to be instantly doing 15 damage. We don't want to use that card right away. We're going to go ahead and use... Nah. I'm not going to use that. It's very interesting because I would probably have to use Fiend Fire for this. But I'd much rather use this Flex and bash that guy. Deal 18 damage to this guy, killing him for each card that I used. We got a very nice starting second hand here. I gotta admit, this is really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and use Shockwave. Give these guys a little bit extra weaken here. And we're gonna use this Flex Plus. Oh, it's beautiful right now. We can instantly do 27 damage plus the half that it does. I'm much rather do it on this guy because it'll kill him instantly. Go ahead and use Burning Pact. We're gonna get rid of that strike. Do we have any exhaust cards in here? We have that one. Oh, yeah. Might as well use the Feel No Pain. And then if we're going to use the draw card. And... Pommel. Not bad. We'll be throwing those in the discard pile for right now. They'll be coming back into our hand pretty soon here. Now, this is interesting. We can use Combust to deal us a little bit of damage here. Then we're going to do this 24 damage here. And then we're just going to end our turn. He's going to do his Rake and kill himself. And... Molten Egg. We get Molten Egg, so which egg upgrades an attack. If I can even talk today. I'm much rather do Boljon, honestly. But let's see what Wild Strike does. 17? Nah, let's do the Boljon. Boljon, sorry. Pick up the gold, the explosive potion. We can get rid of the elixir, honestly. And, oh, we got a new card. Spot Weakness. If an enemy intends to attack, gain 4 strength. Oh, a very nice card to have. We're gonna pick that up. Now this one we're gonna definitely rest. We want to get our HP back. So now we're about 8 points off from our full health here. And we're going to be starting our next game, a little round here, with 2 HP back. Oh! I think we're going to use Burning Pact, exhaust our defend, gain 2 cards. And this is a very nice card to use right now because Fiend Fire is here. I'm gonna go ahead and use it on this guy. Now, Fiend Fire's in effect. We'll take him out. We don't have to deal with a very heavy hitter right now. But we're gonna have to worry about this Raker. Oh, very nice hand to start up with. Let's see. We don't have anything to upgrade our strength right now at the current second. But we can use this card in a specific way. Let's go ahead and use it. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping it was gonna do. But I didn't expect it to give it 3. Oh well. We're gonna just go ahead and do Thunderclap and then Bulge on in order to finish this mess. 63 damage. Now you see why I upgraded it. Now we got 2 new cards here. Rage. Whenever you play an attack this turn, gain 4 block, and Clothesline. Deal 12 damage, apply 2 weak. Honestly, I think Clothesline would probably be better this time. So we're gonna go ahead and go that way. Oh yay, we have this enemy to start it up with. I'm much rather go ahead and start up with Flex. Then Combust. Bash him. He's now gonna do 69 damage, kill him instantly. Now we got some upgrade cards, and this new card, Serum Blow. Chemokinesis Plus, which is to lose 2 HP but deal 18 damage. Very nice. Serum Blow, deal 12 damage but can be upgraded any number of times. Now the thing is about this card is that you have to make time in order to upgrade it, and you don't really want to upgrade one card all the time. So it's probably better to just pick up Chemokinesis right now at this point, especially since we have a lot of cards going around losing HP and then dealing a lot of damage too. So it's probably better that way. Plus we also got relics that come into effect with it as well. Very nice. Now we could gain some HP, but it's not going to be really much. We're only going to be gaining like what, 5 HP for this fight. It's not even going to be worth it. We're going to go ahead and Smith. What should we Smith though? That's a good question. Probably no, not Shockwave. Burning Pact. That sounds a lot better. Doesn't really do anything. We're not going to worry about that. Might come into handy, especially against this boss fight. We're going to go ahead and do Bash. No. I think Burning Pact is going to be a little bit better. I'll take that back. We're going to do Burning Pact first. Now let's go ahead and do this boss fight. Oh, this is a new boss I have never actually encountered before. This is going to be fun. Don't mind if I get a little bit serious here. First round, we start off doing 47 damage. Not that great, to be completely honest. What is this guy gonna do? A negative effect and minions abandon combat without their leader. We're gonna go ahead and use the strength first and foremost. Use Pommel Strike against this guy. Ooh, now this is nice. We may lose 4 HP, but we're gaining 2 energy plus this couple cards here. Boljon is now actually 1. Very nice. Burning Pact, we could use that, but not right this second. Let's go ahead and use up Combust. The enemy tends to attack, so I'm going to go ahead and use it on him to gain 4. Apply the weakened and vulnerable state to all these guys. Now we could use Bolgon to take out the minions, but we're going to be really focusing on this automation here. 49 damage to give it down to about a little bit less than half. Okay, so we just lost 2 important cards. Fiend Fire Plus is now to this enemy, and Blood for Blood is now in this enemy's hands. So we're going to definitely want to take him out as fast as possible. Well, since Thunderclap is easy to use right now, we're going to go ahead and start off with that. Definitely going to take that 34 damage to him and deal 25 and apply the 2 weak, which will definitely benefit us for more so of a reason than anything. Down to 50 HP, but he's down to about 118 right now with the current 9 shield. Well, definitely gonna go ahead and clothesline an enemy here. I think that guy would be a better clothesline, honestly. Then we're gonna go ahead and Thunderclap. Fiend Fire now has 2. Then we're gonna bash this guy. He does 0. Those will go back into my discard pile, but at least we'll have some cards in the discard pile again. Well, it's probably better to use Sever Soul rather than Strike in this situation, so we're going to go ahead and use all of our cards in order to get up Sever Soul in that sense. Go Hemokinesis, Strike, Strike, defend once, deal 24 damage, deal 18, and then we'll call it good from here. And if he decides, well, he's not going to live for too long with that. Oh, but this is not a very good hand. Why did it have to be this way? Well, at least we'll do it this way. He'll be dead. Nice! So now we got a couple of new cards to look at here. We can use Limit Break now, which we now have Strength cards, which is very nice. But let's go ahead and look at the other two just to make sure. We also have Berserk, which is if your HP is at or below 50%, gain energy at the start of each turn. Very nice power to use. And those last at each turn that you use it. So right now this would be very helpful. But we want survivability more than anything. Or do we? Next we're going to have Reaper, which is deal 4 damage to all enemies and heal for unblocked damage dealt. So let's say if we have our strength up by 4, which increases by 8, then we have a vulnerability on the enemy. that will increase its damage to 12. Now, if that enemy does not have any shields on or anything like that, that 12 damage will be healed back to me. Now imagine if there's actually 3 enemies on the field, let alone 4. 12, 24, 36, 48. I'm basically back at half health. It's a nice card to have, but you have to use it right. I think we're gonna go Berserk though, but Reaper would be a better choice. Well, screw it. We're gonna go Reaper. Now we have a couple of new things in here. The Black Star I now know about is pretty freaking awesome. We have the Runic Dome, which is gain energy at the start of each turn. You can no longer see enemy intents, which is like enemy attacks or buffs or anything like that, which would not be very good. Then we have the Runic Pyramid. At the end of your turn, you no longer discard your hand. Draw 1 less card each turn. It's not a very good card. Or I should say, not a very good relic to have. I think I'd rather take the Black Star, because gaining more relics would be a better bet for all of us, in a sense. From that last map that we have gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 relics. Not a very good amount, but it's not very bad either. We could still do a lot more. Let's see. We have a lot more to deal with here, so let's go ahead and look at the floors that we got. So, 1, 2, as far as I see. 3, as far as I see. So we can face off against 3 elites in a sense, but we're going to really need to be saving our HP for these fights. So we're going to start off with as little fights as possible. I think we're going to take this route here. Go up here, take on this elite, go here, heal there, then we'll take that box of treasure, and then we'll take on the elite there, go here, go travel to the merchant, see where we can buy, if we haven't bought anything at the first one, heal back up here, take on that elite, deal with this bonfire here, whether it be to heal or to upgrade, and then we can go to this boss. That's our plan. Now these guys are going to be a lot tougher, so it's a good thing we picked up that Whirlwind Strike. So we're going to go ahead and start off with Offering. It'll be a nice start up to our little band of things here. And we get a couple of nice things in this badge here. We got Spot Weakness, Gain Strength. Very nice to start it off with. We can now do Strike for 15 damage. Very nice. Clothesline for 16 damage, plus the half, so 24. Plus we're applying weak, so we better use it on an enemy that's attacking this turn. Go ahead and do this guy. Now Blood for Blood does 0, so we're going to go ahead and attack for 30 on this guy. Thunderclap is 2, we're going to go ahead and spend a little bit on that. And we're going to go Shockwave to just decrease them a little bit more. And then I'm going to go ahead and bash this guy. Now, what's special about these guys is that after 2 turns after being defeated, they come back onto the field with half their HP remaining. So we want to take them all out at the same exact time. Now they're going to be doing 3 damage to themselves over these courses, with the exception of this guy. He's going to be defending, gaining some defense. Ah, but here's our Whirlwind. This should end the fight. Like I said. Now we have Headbutt. Deal 12 damage, place a card from your discard pile on top of your drop down. We're definitely going to pick that up right away. gonna go into this fight. Judging from the chaos terrain around you, a bony spear surrounds a mysterious glowing object within. While you are curious what lies inside, you notice some sentries keeping an eye on it. We're gonna take it on. We really want this relic. I'm not sure what's inside the relic, for that matter. But we're really gonna want to take it. Blood for blood, we're gonna go ahead and start up for 24 damage on him. And do that. Then we're gonna place blood for blood back on top of the deck. And then we're gonna do Whirlwind Strike. Now these guys are a little bit thorny. Whenever they use that, they gain 5 damage dealt back. So it's kind of like this. It's like the bronze scales, except for whenever they strike, they take damage, but whenever I strike, I take damage back. So I need to really be careful when I'm playing these cards. Well, let's see, what do I have in my draw pile? Nothing too worthwhile. Let's see, do I have... Ah, that would be a very nice card to use right now. I think we might save the spot weakness for later. We're gonna go ahead and deal 47 damage to this guy and Fiend Fire this one. Takes 7 damage. No. Yeah, we're gonna have to definitely do that. And then in return to kill him. It's not a very good one. At the start of each combat, gain 5 plated armor. I wonder what that means, because I never really got that before. Clash! Ooh, a very nice card, especially if we can play it. But we're not going to really worry about that, because we're not going to be able to play it that much. I'm going to go ahead and go Flex. Gonna go to this merchant, see if he has anything worthwhile for us. No, I'm just going to go ahead and a little bit run through this. Rampage, though. Deal 8 damage each time this card is played, increases damage by 4 for this combat. Not bad. Upon pickup, choose a power card. At the start of each combat, this card will be in your hand. Not sure. Whenever you enter a rest site, start the next combat with 2 energy. Nice. Every turn, 3 turn, gain 1 energy. Definitely pick that up. We're definitely gonna want more attack cards right now. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Get rid of the fence. And we're back at it. Duplicate. Thank you! Kneel respectfully. A ghastly mirror image appears when the shrine collides into you. Ugh. Now we have 2 Fiend Fires. Twice the chance of drawing them. Oh boy, this is gonna be a run to not forget. Go ahead and exhaust that. Let's go! More cry, it's free, why not? Well, just let me clap. No, I just did that. 2. See, now that wasn't even worth it. Yeah, it's not even worth it right now. I could use that, but it's not gonna do anything. So I'd much rather put it back in my deck. Yeah, see? Let's kill it. Easy peasy, right? Apply 6 poison. Nah. Heavy Blade plus. Let's go. Oh. Interesting hand to start off with. Nice, it became 0. Last time it was just 1. Now we're working here. I'm gonna go ahead and apply Shockwave. Burn packs cost 0, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that. We really don't need Defend right now. Ooh. I'll go ahead and use Whirlwind. That'll definitely take a lot of damage out. Go for 1. Flex and Combust. We have 13 damage. Look at this thing. 79! It does 118 after the effects of the vulnerability. Bam! Crusher! At the start of each combat, add a random colorless card to your hand. Thank you. And whenever you obtain a curse, increase your match HP by 6. Dang! 32. 32 gold. Golly. This is brutal. Like I said, we want to take the safest route possible. And we want to heal whenever we can. So we're going to definitely do that. I have a burger laying around. As you head upwards, hopping from one floating shape to another, you slip. You begin to fall. While in free fall, you consider your options. Land safety with your greatest technique. Channel a power to survive the fall. Or strike at the wall to hang on to it. Oh. Well, the only thing I'm doing is losing a card, so I could just choose a card that I really don't like. I really picked up an extra blood for blood, but I didn't really need it, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it. Now, we can pick up a couple of other things here. It's a small chest, but we get a mango. Max HP by 14. Let's go. I like it. Now, we want to definitely take the elite because we want... Oh, I hate this guy. Oh my god. Well, he's attacking, so I'm definitely gonna go ahead and do that. Now, I wonder what it's gonna do. Nice. Okay. Well, there's not really a lot I can do in here. It's not a very good hand. The only thing I can do is really weaken it and prepare for the next one. Offering! Let's go ahead and start off with that. Ooh, heavy blade though. I'll definitely do that. Make him take 27. Do that. Drink. This could have been much worse. This countdown is what I was worried about. I have 2 turns to basically kill him with 100 HP. It's not gonna be easy. Then again, what do I know? It just comes in. We do 29, 43. That'll basically kill it. I thought that was gonna be a lot harder than it was, so I was really focused there. So sorry about that, but this is really good. We're getting really good at this right now. Bottle of Flame. Upon pickup, choosing an attack card. At the start of each combat, this card will be in your hand. You really want to go there? Now we're putting a skill card in our hand too. These two are just ridiculous. Now we also get Heavy Blade, which we're gonna pick up for sure. This is a brutal deck we built right now. A highly ornamented automated tomb can be seen on the other side of the floating path. Upon reaching the tomb, you notice a slot for gold coins with a scratched out inscription above it. I don't mind that, honestly. Oh. This goes hand in hand with the bag of marbles. The red mask goes hand in hand with the bag of marbles. And then... that's really nice. Okay. An opening appears out of the tomb, and outside a small red mask with a note attached. Take from others as I have taken from you. Don't you worry, I got you. Well, we're not going to be buying anything at this merchant, so we're just going to go ahead and just skip it right away. Now, we can go to this enemy, or we can go to this bonfire. Whichever we choose, we're going to definitely need an upgrade for our cars. So we're just going to go ahead and smith. What does this card do? By 8 for this combat. Ooh, okay. I mean, that wasn't bad when I first thought about it. I was like, oh, that's nice. And then, yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do Shockwave. No, actually, take that back. What does Reaper do? 5? Not sure. I really want to do Bash, but I think Thunderclap might. No, it's not better. Fudge it. We're doing Flex. Nemesis. This is the first time I ran into this battle ever. So, Thunderclap. Definitely first and foremost here. Shuffle your discard pile into your draw pile. Draw one card. For another Thunderclap. Or not. Ooh, but this would be really helpful. Let's go ahead and do it. Okay. Wasted about a good portion of our cards there. Oh, intangible, great. So what we really need to focus on right now is defense. Gotta go ahead and do it. Gonna go ahead and weaken him really a large amount here. We're just gonna get this one out of the way so that we can get its power raised up a little bit, so when it becomes not intangible anymore, then we can deal a little bit more damage. Which, by the way, intangible, as read below, reduce all damage taken and HP loss to 1 for the next 2 turns. So meaning, whenever you deal damage, you only deal 1 point of damage, period, for that entire damage that you deal. So technically, you could do any of your small 0 counts or anything like that, but you would still only do 1 point of damage. Like such. Nah. I don't know. Yeah, I guess we'll keep that one. I'm gonna go do that. Thunderclap. Add on a little bit of vulnerability. Keep deducing its attack. Flex is now 0. Definitely gonna want to raise that. Bolgon, I know it's only gonna do 1 damage, but might as well use it, right? I have it. Might as well use that and return. Nothing I can really do right now without intangible up on top. Oh, but that hurts a lot. Screw it! He's dead. He's done. Ah, okay. If you end your turn without block, gain 6 block. We upgrade Bash and Sever Soul thanks to this whetstone here, which is upon pickup upgrade 2 random attacks. Or Chilium, it's not really worth it. That, and then we get an extra card. Oh! Boljon! Or Double Tap. Double Tap. This turn your next attack is played twice. I'll take that, thank you. And since we're going on a bonfire, we really need to actually heal. I actually take that back. We're not going to upgrade. Okay. And here's our boss fight. Is he a minion? Choose a skill from your draw pile, placing it to your hand. Exhaust. I really don't like my hand I start off with. The thing is, I want something. Okay, I can work with that better. It's not a really good hand, honestly. Well, we're definitely going to be going with Fiend Fire for the most part here. Because, let's see. Oh. Damn, I didn't think about that. I'm really lost right now. I don't know what to do. It's the first turn, and I'm not even sure if I want to do it. Alright, well, screw it. There goes nothing. Takes about half of his HP away, but this is not going to be a good show right here. We really need a good starting hand here. Which, thank God for offering. Definitely do 12 damage times 2, which is 24. Not a really good start there, but Whirlwind goes up. Heavy Blade. He might awaken this turn, so I don't really want him to awaken. I don't even know what this enemy does, but I'm just assuming that this awakening or unawakened is a very bad thing. So I'm just trying to kill him as fast as I possibly can. Okay. So we got a clothesline. I can definitely work with that. And then we also got Bogon. He has 50 HP, 47 HP now. Hopefully we can take him out. Just give me. We got a nice little start hand here. We're gonna go ahead and use double tap, then reap. Heal all the way up. I must say, that's a nice card. I definitely want to play that one first. Oh, but we shoveled them already. Okay. That's the reason why it didn't work. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and use Flex. Combo Strike. Oh. This is his awakening. Shit. Okay, whatever I do right now, I gotta do a lot of damage. Protect myself here. Might as well. Okay, so a serious problem here. This is a DPS race. I literally have to do just about a 6 of his HP right now in order for this to even work. Yeah, definitely want to play a week right now. Oh, this is definitely not the way I want it to go right now. Now, we could use Whirlwind Plus, but it's not going to be doing a lot of damage right now. Oh, wait, hold up. There we go. I like seeing that damage. Yes. So we're doing 30 damage to this guy now. And now with Bolgon, it's basically game. We beat the crow. Very nice. A deep pulse and dread that can be felt throughout the room. Is this the heart of the Spire, the source of the evil? You ready your blade. Attack? Dealt 660 damage. The heart squirms and bleeds, but it's only still pounding. Are your mightiest attacks not enough? Total of 380,639,544 damage that has been dealt by all who have challenged it. The heart pulses louder and louder as your consciousness fades. Wow! That's my first ever victory. I'm actually surprised. I actually won a game. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and skip the edits. But that's all for the first episode, guys. I literally got my first game completely finished on stream. What do you know? Well, without further ado, I'm not gonna keep you guys waiting any further. It's been quite a long time since I started the stream, and it's been quite a long time since I've been streaming it. So, without further ado, I thank you guys so much for watching right now. But for right now, we're going to call it quits, and I hope to see you guys later, okay? Sounds good.